Today, I'm taking you into my kitchen and we're gonna cook up some yummy, hearty, and easy meals from ingredients from my pantry and freezer. These meals are going to bring your family together for a weeknight dinner, a Sunday dinner, or even for the holidays. So prepare to drool a little. And I have some great options for you to bake up for your next meal or bring to your next holiday gathering from Wild Grain. And I'll be sharing them with you in just a few minutes. Aprons on, let's go. I'm gonna share with you a Marry Me chicken recipe. It'll go great with any occasion that you're doing, and even a holiday dinner coming up. I actually made this recipe for the family when my parents were here and we celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. I wanted to make a dinner that was fitting for the moment, be absolutely delicious, wouldn't break the bank, and be perfect for an anniversary. I am tripling this recipe, so I went ahead and cut my chicken breasts in half lengthwise. I sprinkled them with some garlic powder and salt and pepper. Then I went ahead and dredged each piece of chicken into some flour. I shook off any excess flour, the best that I could, and continued this with each chicken breast. Over medium heat, I heated up some olive oil with some butter, about 2 tablespoons. I made sure I evenly coated my pan with that. Once it was nice and hot, I placed the chicken cutlets in the skillet. I tried really hard not to overcrowd the pan. I ended up doing this in 2 pans, and I browned the chicken for 4 to 5 minutes on each side until they were golden brown and fully cooked through. So if it's easier for you to work in batches, do that because you don't want to overcrowd your pan. Once they were all browned up, I removed the chicken from the pan and I covered them on plates to keep them warm, and I just set them aside. Then I started mincing up about 10 cloves of garlic. In that same skillet, saute the minced garlic for about a minute until it becomes super fragrant. Then pour in your chicken stock. And then I'm just deglazing the bottom of the pan. All those yummy bits are gonna be so flavorful. I reduced my heat to about medium-low, and I added in grated Parmesan cheese and some of the heavy cream. I'm gonna season this with some chili flakes, thyme, and oregano. Then I'll adjust the taste with some salt and pepper. I'm gonna let this simmer for a few minutes until it thickens slightly. As I'm doing that, I'm chopping up some sun-dried tomatoes, adding those to the skillet, and I'll let the sauce simmer and thicken for a few more minutes. Once that was done, I just moved everything over to a nice casserole dish. We want to make sure that that chicken is coated well. And then you can garnish this with some fresh chopped basil leaves. This sauce is so yummy. You can even make this dish with pasta. When your chicken is done, shred it up a bit, chunk it up, boil your pasta, pour this all over it. So good. My parents loved the sauce, so they chose to have it over mashed potatoes. Then we served it up with some sauteed summer squash and zucchini and a salad. Oh, it was so tender, so flavorful, so good. And it is a hit. Oh my gosh, mwah. It'll go great with any occasion that you're doing. But you know what would have gone really good with that meal? Some really yummy sourdough bread. I don't know how to make sourdough bread, and I really kind of don't have the desire to make it. I'm really picky with sourdough bread. But have you had the sourdough bread from Wild Grain? It is so good. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas. They partner with small bakers and pasta makers across the country to keep the tradition of artisanal and nutritious food alive. Unlike store-bought, Wild Grain uses a slow fermentation process that's easier on your belly, which I absolutely love. It can help lower your blood sugar spikes. Hello. And my second thing that I love about it, all I need to do is reach into the freezer, pull it out frozen, and pop it in the oven. No thawing. And every item bakes in 25 minutes or less. Some sourdough is too strong for me. Let me tell you, that sourdough was so good. Wild Grain is consistently adding new seasonal items and limited time items that you can try when you're building your next box. Donuts. These apple cider donuts are available only for a limited time. Absolutely delicious, and they go perfect with your morning coffee, on a crisp fall day, or as a midday pick-me-up. What I really admire about them is that with one membership, they will donate 4 meals to the Greater Boston Food Bank. They really are the ultimate holiday hack for Thanksgiving or for Christmas with their delicious rolls. This is so good. And these tear and share cranberry pecan rolls would be great to add to your holiday table. They make a great hostess gift and Christmas gift. So knowing I can have something delivered to me that I could pop in the oven frozen and have it come out perfect, that makes me excited. They have 3 different subscription boxes: original, plant-based, or gluten-free. Gluten-free, that is awesome. Wild Grain was so great, they sent me a code for you to save $30 off your first box. Plus, you'll receive free croissants in every box. And trust me, you want these. These are so flaky, buttery, delicious. They're our favorite. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is worth it right here. Just use my code HERAPRON at checkout. Trust me, you'll thank me later. For the anniversary dinner, I wanted to make something I never made before for a dessert. And I was going through all the options to my parents, throwing some ideas out. And when I said the word pistachio, my dad lit up. Oh, okay, let's go in that direction. And I told him about a yummy pistachio cake that my friend Denise shared with me. And he was like, yep, that's what I want. So let me share with you this yummy pistachio cake that will go great with any meal that you're making, but also great for the holidays coming up. For this recipe, you'll need a white cake mix, some instant pistachio pudding, oil and eggs for the cake, club soda, and some finely chopped pecans or pistachios.
Hi, little dog.
Say hello, Grampy.
Hi, little dog. You're a little one, aren't you?
Yes, and I'm very skittish.
Are you skinny?
I'm so freaking skittish and drive mom crazy. With my pistachios, I'm gonna finely chop these so I get about a ½ cup. You can use a yellow cake mix if needed, but white will give you more of a green color, and you'll be able to taste the pistachio flavor a lot more. Then you'll need a small box of instant pistachio pudding. Ooh, it almost looks blue. And we're gonna add 3 eggs, a cup of oil. I'm using canola oil. We're gonna mix this on medium speed for about 2 minutes. Then I'm gonna add a cup of the club soda in. The club soda is gonna help with the lightness of the cake. And then we're gonna mix this on low together. Okay, we're gonna fold in that ½ cup of finely chopped pistachios. This is ready to go into our bundt pan. So grab yourself a bundt pan. I'm just gonna spray it down with some extra virgin olive oil spray. We're gonna flour it, so sprinkle in some flour. Just gonna hit it around with some of that flour. This will help us when we wanna get it out of the bundt pan. I can't say bundt pan now without being like from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. A boont, a boont. Okay, then we're gonna pour the batter in. Have your oven preheated to 350 degrees, and this is going to bake for 40 to 45 minutes until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Let's get this in the oven. When your cake is done, have it cool for 10 minutes in the pan, and then turn out onto a serving plate. All right, here's the scary part, if it's gonna come out of the pan. Ugh, nope, okay. Gonna grab a knife, and we're gonna cut around the edges. All right, please work, please work. Yes. Have that cake cool completely. Okay, for the frosting, we're gonna need 2 envelopes of the Dream Whip topping mix. And we're gonna mix that with 1 small box of instant pistachio pudding and 1 1/2 cups of milk. We're gonna mix this together on low speed until it's all combined. And then I'm gonna increase the mixing speed to high and then beat for another 4 to 6 minutes or until there's soft peaks forming. Now it's time to spread the frosting evenly over the cake. This is where I reveal that I am horrible at frosting cakes. This cake could be great for a lot of holidays. For St. Patrick's Day, fill the whole of the bundt cake with some gold foiled wrapped chocolate coins. For Easter, we could sprinkle the top with some shredded coconut and then dot the top with some Cadbury mini eggs. Oh, that would be so cute with the yellow, blue, pink, and white eggs on top. And also for Christmas, we can garnish the cake with some maraschino cherries and have it look like a holiday wreath. One suggestion I saw online was to lay the cherries on a paper towel to dry a bit so that the juices don't bleed into the frosting. Now you could top this with about 1/4 cup of finely chopped pecans or pistachios, but there was so many pistachios in the cake already that I wasn't too sure. So I got the opinion from my mom and dad, and they were like, yeah, just leave the pistachios off the top. So that's what we did. You guys, it was so good. We were all just like, it's like that what about Bob moment when you're eating and you're just like, Seriously, We loved it. It was so good. Our next meal, we roasted up a whole chicken. I love having whole chickens in my freezer ready to go for us. I always try to keep one at all times. We made this meal on a Sunday. Now, I don't know what it is about Sundays, but when you come home from church, it's like you never ate. You're ravenous. So we were so excited for dinner. Get ready to have your mouths water. This meal was delicious. While I'm scrubbing up the potatoes, Derek is gonna chop up all the veggies for me. We're chopping up carrots, potatoes, and onions. I love being in the kitchen with him and just talking, and a lot of the times our conversations are so random.
We're making a live action Lilo and Stitch.
What? Really?
I'm like, seriously, can you guys come up with something new? These live action movies to me are a cop-out.
The man feels how he feels, okay? Oh, he's great. He's now gonna season up the potatoes. We're drizzling the potatoes in some olive oil, and he's grinding in some salt and pepper. And we're also just randomly seasoning the potatoes as well. We like thyme, tarragon, and basil. But Derek is also adding a little kick in. He's using a little Cajun spice. Tonight we're not following a recipe, we're just doing. While he's tossing all that together, I'm mincing in a few cloves of garlic. Now that the potatoes are all coated, he is working on the butter mixture to put on top of the chicken. And he's using the same seasonings with the chicken. Now he's just getting the bird all good and coated with that yummy butter mixture. He's so good at trussing a bird, I stink at that. He's had a lot of practice though. We love smoking up our whole birds also on the smoker, but today we were just craving that good old roasted chicken. There's so many ways that you could roast up your chicken. In your big roasting pan, you can have your chicken like on a trivet, but obviously we're not doing that. So we're just surrounding the bird with the potatoes, the carrots, the onions. Now everyone has a different opinion on what temperature and how long you should cook your chicken for. I've seen it recommended at 375 degrees, and if you do it at that temperature, if your bird is 2.5 to 3 pounds, you roast from 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes. If it's a 3.5 to 4 pound chicken, 1 hour and 15 minutes to 1 hour and a half. If it's 4.5 to 5 pounds, you roast for about 1 3/4 to 2 hours. But you can roast a chicken anywhere between 325 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I've read where you can start at 400 to 425 degrees Fahrenheit and then turn your oven down to 350 after like 15 minutes. I can't quite remember what we had our oven at on this day. It was anywhere between 375 to 400 degrees. But basically, you just need to cook it until the internal temperature is 165 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. We did have this rest for about 10 minutes, and then we carved right into it. So because the chicken really didn't give us any gravy because it seeped into all the vegetables, yum. I did have some poultry gravy in the cabinet, so I just whipped that up really quick, and I just poured that over the chicken and the potatoes. Oh my gosh, this is such a yummy meal. And you can make this meal up 1,000 ways. I have seen so many different recipes for roasted chicken. Let me know in the comments, how do you roast up your chicken? What's your favorite way? And what vegetables do you add to your pan? And I'll also leave a link down below when I cooked my whole chicken in the slow cooker. Oh, but I wish you could smell the house. It smelled so good. Roasted chicken is one of my favorite meals. If there's only 2 of you or even 4, and if you don't want to cook up a whole turkey, then just roast up a whole chicken. And one night we had beef stew. This recipe is so good. This was my mother-in-law's beef stew recipe, but I switched things up. When you're all done browning up your meat in the pan, you let the meat simmer in some water and beef broth. Well, I decided to change it up one day and I added a dark lager beer. Oh my gosh, game changer. Try this with your favorite stew recipe. It'll change it for you. The taste is incredible, even if you don't like beer. The taste is phenomenal. I've shared this recipe with you before, but I gotta bring it back. It is so good and perfect with the weather change going into winter. It's cozy, it's comforting, and great to have over the holidays.
I am going to add a cup of flour to my brown bag, and then we'll add seasonings, and then we'll get some of the meat in, shake it up, get it in the pan. I'm gonna be adding some granulated onion, garlic powder, seasoned salt, and pepper. I just eyeball it. I don't even measure it, get it all in there. I just shook up the bag, covered the meat really good, and added it to my pot where we had some olive oil heated up. So I'm just browning this on all sides, doing it in layers. Once all the beef was browned up, I placed it all back into the pot. Then I sprinkled a half cup of the leftover flour mixture over the beef and stirred that up. And then I added the beef broth and the beer.
And then to my pot, I added in some dried onions with a few cloves of garlic and 2 bay leaves. And I had that simmer for an hour. While that was simmering, I peeled some potatoes and carrots, chopped those up, and chopped up some celery and fresh onion. I added those to the pot and just let that simmer for another hour or so, just until the potatoes are tender. And I'm always eyeing this. If I need to add more broth, I'll add more broth in. So we decided for that Sunday dinner that we were gonna make the beef stew and bringing it up to my daughter and son-in-law's home. So we were able to have Sunday dinner together. And it was just so fun to sit at their table and have some yummy beef stew. And we did get my son Jonah on FaceTime. He's in the Army and he's far away. So it was like we were all together again for a family dinner. These are the moments I cherish. Okay, not every meal needs to be this big production, okay? So one night we needed to hurry and have dinner. I really didn't put any thought into that day. And so I ran to my freezer and I had a bag of panko chicken tenders in there. They are so good. They're raw, so you have to cook them through. These are gonna bake for 450 degrees for 20 minutes, and then I'll take them out, flip them over, and then they'll cook for an additional 7 minutes. And when we took them out, I just smeared some, I think it was like Chick-fil-A sauce on top, add some yummy sides, and made a hearty meal. So always have a backup of something convenient for you in the freezer. And those panko chicken tenders are always a backup for us. And lastly, tonight I'm having 11 friends over for bunko. They are a fun crowd. And we always make and bring dinner before the game. And I wanted to make something easy for tonight because I'm putting the house together, I'm putting up Christmas, and I have a lot on my plate today. So I was like, okay, what can I make today that will feed a crowd, make you full, because I'm all about getting my belly full, and just leave your taste buds so happy. Baked potato bar. I'm gonna be putting some of it together, but everyone's bringing something. Someone's bringing green onions and cheese, chili barbecue sauce, pulled pork, bacon bits, sour cream, fruit salad, and drinks. So I need to get my potatoes in the oven right now, but I don't have time to film it for you. So I'm gonna take you back to just like 2 months ago when we did baked potatoes. After we poke the potatoes, we're gonna brine them. And I saw this done with America's Test Kitchen, and it is my favorite way to make a baked potato. In a bowl, add about a half cup of water and 2 tablespoons of salt. And you're gonna roll your potato in that water salt mixture. This is going to bring so much flavor to your potato. And my friend Taylor tonight was telling me how he's seen this done with bacon grease. So I think the next time I make baked potatoes, I'm definitely gonna try that. Have your oven ready at 450 degrees. I'm putting these straight on the racks in my oven, but you could take a cookie sheet and line it with a wire rack. It helps to cook the potato evenly. It'll save your oven from all the cleaning. I don't, and the salt water mixture does get down in my oven. We just lay some aluminum foil at the bottom, and truly it is easier to get it from the oven, but you know me, I like to do things the hard way. You guys follow these directions. The next time you make a baked potato in your oven, you won't be sorry. Your skin comes out crispy and flavorful. You'll eat the whole potato. It's so good. Now, depending on the size of your potatoes, it could take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to cook, and they've come out perfect all the time. When the time is up and you take them out of the oven, they're gonna look a little frosty from the salt. It's a yummy, salty crust. Then you can brush your potatoes with a little bit of olive oil. I do a little. When I do it very lightly, I can still really maintain that crisp. We're gonna put these back in the oven for like 10 minutes, and after the 10 minutes, you're good to go. Friends, a baked potato bar is a great idea when you want to feed a crowd and feed their bellies.
It's good. The skin is delicious.
You like it?
Oh yeah.
Make one for family dinner night or even for the holiday get together like I'm doing. Friends, check out this playlist here. I'm sharing with you some hearty, yummy soups and chilies and slow cooker meals that are perfect for the winter season coming up and perfect for the holiday season. I'll meet you over there. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.